words like traitor, sellout, targeting very specific lawmakers, all Miami-Dade Republicans, all Cuban American children of exile.
Look at your last names. Look at your kids. Look at your last names. Where you coming from? Look at your last names.
Now, the family was loaded into this bus here right behind me. After immigration court, we're learning it was a family of 4 from Cuba, a man, his wife, and their 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Their attorney says they've been here to prior hearings, immigration hearings, and they were informed this morning that it was a real possibility of being deported.
Outside immigration court, among those detained, a Cuban man who was meeting with an attorney.
My son had an appointment with an attorney, and they took him without any explanation.
Laura Garcia said she and her husband arrived from Cuba 4 days ago and are seeking asylum. He went into the immigration office, but after several hours, there was no sign of him.
He just came in and snatched her.
This man said his wife from Venezuela was taken into custody during a raid in the Miami neighborhood of Brownsville over the weekend, and that 2 construction workers were also rounded up.
I like Donald Trump. I think so he's doing wrong. Because you know, fix the problem, just isolate the people.
Cubans, they're not playing. They want to deport all the undocumented immigrants. These 3 commissioners up here, all Cuban Americans, voted to give police, Miami police, the power and the authority to act as ICE agents. Meaning that if they suspect you to be undocumented, they could detain you. If they expect you of breaking any immigration laws, they could detain you and question you. Joe, Miguel, and Ralph voted on this 3-2 vote to give Miami police the authority to act as ICE.
Cuban American woman from Miami here. Actually, I'm from Hialeah. That's real deep. If you know, you know. I'm from Hialeah. I'm originally a Hialeah girl. I am from South Florida. I grew up in a Cuban community. My mom's Cuban. I'm ashamed, and I just want to tell the world I'm sorry. Not all of us Cubans are like that. Some of us do have empathy. Some of us do feel solidarity with the rest of the Latino community that's going through it. Some of us knew this was going to happen and tried to warn our friends and family. I have to explain to you why it's so different in South Florida. The Cubans there live in this bubble where they're the majority, and they think that they're white, and they live in a certain bubble of privilege where they don't see discrimination directed towards them, because they're the majority. But I promise you, to those Cubans that haven't really left South Florida, just drive a couple hours north and you're going to realize you're not white. You're not white. You're never going to be white enough for them.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So let's talk about what's happening in Miami right now, because it's something a lot of people saw coming and now it's here. Many Cuban Americans in Miami voted for DT, believing his immigration policies were only going to affect quote-unquote other people. They supported his promises to tighten the border, add programs like humanitarian parole, and increase deportations. But now, in 2025, you are seeing the consequences unfold, and it's affecting their own family. ICE is deporting Cubans, and what's even more surprising, some Cubans in Miami are now calling out their own community for supporting the very policies that are now tearing their lives apart. If you're coming across this channel for the first time, my name is Rosemary. Kindly consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Before we get to the video, let me play a few clips on the same, and I'll be back with my commentary. All credit goes to the original creators of these videos.
So I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of your votes. I'm ashamed of those stupid fucking videos I see you posting. You're embarrassing yourselves, because I see those 3 Doritos later videos, and I can't help but fucking laugh. Sometimes I feel bad. I feel bad because the person getting deported didn't vote for shit. But I have family members that are getting deported, and I have family members that voted for this fucking shit. And I'm never gonna share a table with them, because now you want to feel sorry, and now you want to feel bad. Now you see the consequences of your action, where our own fucking family's getting deported. It's too little, too late. Too little, too late. I see some of you crying on these videos saying how you regret your vote. I wish you had thought about it before. But these are the consequences. This is what happens when you don't give a fuck about your other fellow humans. Karma's going to get right back at you. So again, this is an apology video to the rest of the Latino community. Please know, not all of us Cubans from Miami are like that. I'm not.
And mind you, Miami is over 50% immigrants. And if you think this is only going to impact the Latino immigrant community, you're dead wrong. This applies to all immigrants. Y'all better be out there keeping your head on a swivel. Look, check this out. Read this right here. You can pause it and read it. But it's just breaking down everything that I just said. I'm not surprised. This is Florida, you know.
You are basically driving a dagger into the heart of the entire community, because these are mixed status families.
A mother distraught after her 21-year-old son was taken away by ICE. She says he came to the U.S. from Cuba 9 months ago.
When he got out of the car, they called him by his name, and they were there waiting for him.
They could have to remain detained for the entirety of those proceedings, and for expedited removal, they will have to be in detention.
They went to their hearing today. Their asylum case was dismissed. After that, they were promptly led away by federal law officers onto the bus.
There are people with mental health issues. There are people with panic attacks, anxiety attacks. They rather to die than go back to Venezuela.
This is not something about which I have a choice. This is the law of Florida.
Governor DeSantis is using cruelty as a political theater. So I don't understand the hypocrisy or intentional threat to...
Let's back up for a second. For decades, Cubans Americans in Miami had a unique immigration status. Because of Cold War politics, they were seen as political refugees fleeing communism. Many were given fast-track status to stay in the U.S. That special treatment created a kind of bubble where many felt untouched by the border immigration crackdowns affecting Mexicans, Haitians, Venezuelans, and others. But that has changed. DG's policies removed those protections. He added the wet foot, dry foot policy. He pushed for the deportation of immigrants from countries that were once seen as safe zones. And earlier this year, the Supreme Court gave him the green light to add humanitarian parole for migrants from Cuba, Haitians, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. This means thousands of Cubans are now at risk of being deported. Families who thought they were safe are now receiving knock on the doors visit from ICE. Some have been detained, some have already been deported, and others are in hiding. It's a harsh reality that's waking up a lot of people in South Florida. And now, here comes the twist. The backlash is not just coming from outside the Cuban community. It's coming from inside. Videos and social media posts are circulating of Miami Cubans openly criticizing other Cubans for voting Republican. Some are saying things like, "You voted for this, now deal with it." Others are saying, "How could you betray our own people like that?" It's not just frustration, it's anger, because many people feel like they want their families and friends. They said this is not just about the border, it's about all of us. But those warnings were ignored. People believed that as long as they came from Cuba, they'd be safe. Now that illusion is gone. Now that ICE is knocking on Cuban doors, it's personal. The policies were not to obstruct anyone. The pain is real. Children are being separated from their parents. Grandparents are being deported back to a country they haven't seen in decades. And the community is left shocked and divided. But let's believe, this is not just about Cubans. This is a lesson for every community in America. The black, brown, Asian, and white. Voting has consequences. When you vote for policies out of fear or loyalty to a party, instead of thinking critically about how those policies will play out, you risk hurting yourself and your community. The Miami situation is a loud wake-up call. It's not about blaming, it's about accountability. People are finally starting to realize that this is a migration stand. It's not about safety or law and order. It's about control, power, and exclusion. And once the government gets the power to detain and deport whoever they want, no group is truly safe. Some younger Cuban Americans are speaking out, saying that their parents and grandparents voted blindly. They are pushing for change. They want their community to rethink its politics and stop assuming that being Cuban equals being Republican. But that shift won't happen overnight. The loyalty to DT runs deep in parts of Miami, even as the reality gets darker. And we can't ignore the irony here. Some of the same people once shouted build the walls are now crying out for help because their loved ones are being deported. Some who said that send them back are now begging ICE to let their families stay. The hypocrisy is on full display and people are watching. So here we are. The Cuban community in Miami is facing a reckoning. Some are still in denial. Others are finally seeing the truth, and many are angry, not just as ICE hold the government, but as their own people for supporting the very man who brought this pain into their homes. And let me say this clearly, no one is celebrating anyone's suffering. This is not about I told you all. It's about showing how political choices matter. When you vote for someone who promises to target immigrants, don't be surprised when they turn on you next. To the Cuban families being torn apart, I hope this moment leads to real reflection. I hope it leads to community healing, to political education, to stronger unity across the migrants group. Because at the end of the day, the fight for justice doesn't stop at the border. It starts with choosing leaders who see people as human. Let this be a turning point, not just for Miami, but for every community in America. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.